streaming. No. It was only disc. You had to get, the plans were you got, one disc at a time. It's DVDs. You got one DVD at a time. You got 2 or 3 or 5 DVDs at a time. And I often had the 3. For the longest time, I had the 3 disc at a time plan. There was no Blu-ray. So it was just regular DVD. And they really had no competitors because, either you got Netflix or you went to Blockbuster or Blockbuster was still around in 2005, or you had your local mom and pop shop. I think Hollywood Movies or Hollywood Video was also a big one at the time. It was like behind Blockbuster number 2 or something. And now they're all gone. They're gone. And I want you to notice something. They're gone because of innovation. Now Amazon has a streaming service, and Walmart tried to get into the streaming service, and Netflix has a huge streaming service, and we've got other types of streaming types of things like Hulu, and now even HBO. You don't need cable to get HBO now. So things continue to change, and if you stick back back in 2005, you're going to get left behind. Now, this is why I bring this up. None of this new innovation, first of all, came from government. Understand that. None of that came from government. That was all private sector, and all that private sector innovation, all it did was make everybody's lives, in this country at least, better. We thoroughly enjoy all of this new technology. Sure, we may have to pay out a few more bucks for some of it now than we did back in 2005. But hey, it's all volunteer. If we didn't want to, we wouldn't have it. If we didn't want to pay for it, we wouldn't buy it. And if nobody wanted that type of service, then those companies would go out of business and they wouldn't exist. But people are paying for it willingly. Not just entertainment, but all kinds of things. Dropbox, and sure, a lot of this stuff has a free side to it, like Dropbox and Evernote and things like that. But there are also paid sides to it that pay for all of the free stuff too. And if people didn't see value in that, they wouldn't spend the extra money. None of that is government related. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that. But yet and still, we have these people in government who still act like this is 2005. Hell, they still act like this is still 1965. I mean, you got Bernie Sanders out there. Now, who was on Wolf Blitzer, by the way? I don't even, I'm sorry. I do not know why Wolf Blitzer. He's like a Keith Olbermann, although not as crazy. He's not batshit crazy like Keith, but at the same time, you got it. Why the hell does Wolf Blitzer have a television program? Why is he getting paid 6 figures a year? Honestly, it blows my mind every time. Wolf Blitz, yep, there he is. He's still on. Blows my mind. But he had Bernie Sanders on, and I don't. How old is he? He's like 78. I mean, good God. Can Bernie, just go and retire already. Go into the mountains of Vermont, become a hermit, and never be heard from again. And when we find out that you've passed on, we will all stand up and applaud and wish you safe journey to the other side. I'm not trying to be morbid or mean, but come on, really? He's going to take Bernie Sanders seriously. But anyway, Bernie Sanders, he's still thinking that, communism is still a bona fide government system, right? 1965, here we are. But Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders yesterday unveiled a plan to address income equality. That's all we hear is about this from the Democrats. Income equality. You know who some of the biggest income inequalityers are? They're freaking Democrats. Who was it the other day that in the House that was complaining that $173,000 wasn't enough? Well, the average American doesn't earn $173,000 a year. But to him, hey, Congress should earn more than that. Really? For doing what? I don't think most of you are worth what we're paying you now. Quite frankly. But and then we have people like, Bill and Hillary Clinton. $30 million in a year for not even having a business, just giving freaking speeches. 30 million. And Bernie wants to come on to Wolf Blitzer and talk about income equality and how we're going to equalize income by taxing those on Wall Street. Now, you better hold on to your wallets, folks, because you can't tax Wall Street without taxing the middle class, meaning you and me. And I know some of you think, well, Rod, you can do. No, you can't. Well, I'm not in Wall Street. Yeah, you probably are. If you have a pension fund or a 401k or a Roth or an IRA, you're probably invested in Wall Street. If you have mutual funds, you're in Wall Street. Do you know how many millions of Americans actually have a vested interest in Wall Street right now? And not to mention, again, from 2005 to today, a lot of people have been able to set up their own types of investment account. Well, you got Scott Trade and you got the Orange account and Share Builder. There's a bunch of different ones out there that allow you to be your own stockbroker, basically for transaction fee of $3, $4, $5, less than $10 for buying and selling stocks. And you get a transaction fee of less than $10. I mean, that's nothing. You could be a day trader on that. Yeah, in 2005, day trading was big. Day trading is not so big now. I know there are still people out there doing it, but it's not done by a vast majority of people anymore. But you still have this type of person like Bernie Sanders who's still thinking 1965. Still thinking in terms of 2005. Oh, we have this huge income inequality. Well, there are people who earned a lot of money buying and trading stocks by sitting there for 6 hours a day watching their computer relentlessly, making multiple trades. But Bernie wants to tax that kind of stuff. He wants to tax trading on Wall Street. He says he can address income equality by taxing Wall Street speculation and using the money to eliminate college tuition. Oh, here we go. Look, I just heard today that the president of Yale just got an $8 million lump sum bonus. The president of the Yale University, $8 million. But Bernie's over here saying, well, we should tax these Wall Street speculators so we can make college tuition free for everybody. Now, look, college can already be free for a lot of people at a lot of private schools because they have these things called endowment funds. And yeah, I heard Yale's numbers today. Yale has an $18 billion, I think the number was $18 billion endowment fund. Do you know what $18 billion, a small return on $18 billion, it means a lot of money, millions of dollars a year, which means there could be an awful lot of scholarships, partial and full scholarships to Yale. Harvard's got a much bigger endowment fund than that. And yet Harvard still charges about $63,000 a year. $60,000 a year to go to Harvard. And they have they have the United States private college largest endowment fund. And they still charge $60,000. But Bernie is saying, college costs too much. Hey, Elizabeth Warren was making like $400,000 working for Harvard. Where's that income equality? Not even. She wasn't even. Well, let's face it. Harvard, professors in most colleges, they're not teaching or involved in teaching 8 hours a day, 5 or 6 days a week. They're not spending 40 or 50 hours in the classroom and in their office. Hell no. You think Elizabeth Warren was doing that for $400,000 a year? Come on. I mean, this is insanity that we want to tax people for making an investment with money that's already been taxed. Now, understand, Bernie Sanders wants to tax Wall Street speculation, and these speculators, whether it depends on how he's going to define speculator, but understand that these speculators, they're investing and speculating with after-tax dollars, meaning they've already been taxed. They're using money that's been taxed. So Bernie wants to tax it again. Hey, it's called, for all you folks out there who like this fair tax, if you buy stuff, you pay a tax, like a sales tax, you'll pay for stuff, your taxes that way. Well, this is basically what Bernie says. Now, I've been telling people I was not for the fair tax. And I got to tell you, fair tax is nothing more than a socialistic taxation medium. And plain and simple. It's a socialistic idea because it will control your spending habits. And that's exactly what they want to do. If we don't want you to be a speculator in the stock market, well, we're going to tax stock speculation. Every time that you buy and sell stocks, you're going to get taxed on it. Well, now you're not going to buy and sell stocks, at least not as often. So they're going to regulate through taxation your spending behavior. That's what the fair tax is. Oh, well, the fair tax will get rid of all the other taxes. No, it won't. It'll end up being nothing more than a national sales tax, which then will start determining how you spend your money. Okay, it's in Canada, 17%. You want to go spend 17% on top of the cost of your car? Add 17%. I mean, it's bad enough in some states where it's 5, 6, 7, 8%. But you toss on a national tax of 17% onto your state sales tax, you're looking over 20% added to the cost of that car. Well, who's going to pay for that? The fair tax, when you start looking at it, is really not so fair. It's a socialistic medium to control your spending. It control your behavior. Plain and simple. It's just like, hey, we're gonna tax cigarettes, so people that raise the tax so high that people don't want to pay the tax, so they quit smoking. Well, what's that doing? That's controlling your behavior. That's controlling your spending habits. Okay, well, let's, we're talking about that we want to tax sugary soft drinks and sugary snacks. And it's going to be an entry, if they ever get their way, it's going to be an entry level tax. It's going to be small, you barely notice, and they're going to keep raising it until one day that dollar candy bar ends up being $1.50, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. It was worth $1, but it ain't worth $1.50. And then your spending habit is controlled. That's the whole goal. So it isn't about income equality. It's about control, folks. Don't let them try to sidestep the issue. It's about control. Yeah, the whole notion. Well, let's go ahead and pay for tuition. Let everybody go to college for free. Well, who's going to pay for it if nobody speculates anymore? It's kind of like the cigarette taxes, right? They start rising and people stop smoking. Well, they were using the money to do a number of different things, like pay for in some states it was pay for uninsured children's health care. It was also used in some states to advertise, to make advertisements and promotions to get people to quit smoking. And as people bought fewer and fewer cigarettes, there was less money for the children, less money for the till for promoting anti-smoking. And all of a sudden they're like, well, we got to raise taxes in other place to make up for this. Don't doubt. It's about control, folks. It's plain and simple. And if they didn't get the money from one area, they're going to get it from another. So don't let them fool you. They haven't changed.